Okay. You ask. Hi, Alice.
Uh, Hi, I'm here today with my brother Zeke to talk to him about his lifetime experiences. Many of you have watched some of Zeke's videos, and I thought everybody might benefit from seeing where he came from, really, what experiences he's had during his 50 years that has brought him to this place right now. A lot of the things that I'm going to ask him, some of them I don't even know the answers to because we were separated when we were I was a teenager. Zeke, you have a YouTube show called The Zeke Show, where you talk about your current life, sharing all the lessons you've learned in your lifetime and all the challenges you've had and everything. So I just know that it'll help a lot of people to know a little bit about everything else before that. So with that, I'm going to ask you, you have something to say right now that I'm going to ask you to go for it.
Okay, so yeah, so I really feel that this concept that's on my mind, in my heart right now, that I'm going to say is the very, very center of life. And this is it. It's all about behavior. If this way of looking, one way of looking at this whole life, just one way of looking at it, if you can look at it in terms of behaviors, we're here to correct our behaviors. And this whole life is some kind of a machine that souls we come into, we volunteer to come into, to learn to behave effectively. That's what it's really all about. All of life is we're experimenting with different kinds of behaviors. When we do behaviors that don't work out for us, we get behaviors that we get results, circumstances that bring about bad emotions. Emotions we don't like, get anger, we get frustration. And then so this is the thing, when you do behaviors that do bring about feel good, they bring about circumstances, results that feel good, then we notice those, we encourage the behaviors that bring good behavior, bring about good results and circumstances, and we stop doing the behaviors that don't. And the most basic thing, like you hear, crime doesn't pay. How long does it take people to realize robbing a bank to make money doesn't pay, right? You have to go to prison and spend a lifetime in prison. You find out it doesn't pay, right? The whole notion that we're here to learn is to be nice to each other, to do good, and to, if you're working, the very concept of work and occupation that you do, the intention of it, if we're earning money, is we do good for people, and then in exchange for that we get compensated, we get money, so we get pay others to do what we need them to do for us, right? The whole concept of the economy, So I mean, and so often, so much of what you see is people, the whole range of the people who actually commit crimes to get money, or the people who actually do a service, but they kind of rip you off a little bit to get they take advantage of you, and to learn to actually do really good. And then sometimes, like, one day I gave a lady that I didn't know a ride to the workplace. And somebody goes, dude, did you get, did she pay you for that? I said, no. She says, You idiot, why don't you charge people when you do service for them? And the way I explained it is, this concept that what you get might not always be what you want. It's more likely what you think you deserve. So when I do good for people out of the goodness of my heart, makes me feel so good about myself. I feel like I deserve to be prosperous. I get all the love I need, all the money I need, everything I need in my life. And then when I feel that way, naturally, that's what I get. You see, having a clear conscience. That I've heard this statement from my aunt always says this statement that her husband used to say, when I sleep at night, when I put my head on the pillow, I want to feel good. I want to be able to have a clear conscience. I mean, that attitude alone, I see so many people that go around doing things that aren't so nice to others in order to benefit, and they will at some point come to the realization that taking advantage of people in any way, doing anything that doesn't benefit others, harms others in order to benefit, you might think it benefits you in the short term, but somewhere in the back of your mind, you don't feel good about it, what you're doing. And then the most basic of concepts is a Freud, guilt looks for punishment. You see people have like arthritis, a lot of pain, then punishing themselves, and then maybe at some point they realize that and they change their behavior. So just, if I can save you any trouble at all, you realize the whole point of this is, if you're doing good for people for good reason, if you're kind to people, that's the most basic lesson of this life, is then you're gonna benefit from it. If you're benefiting by hurting people, taking advantage of them, hurting them, you might benefit on the short term and long term. You're gonna realize that's not gonna work out for you. The most basic thing. Okay, now just let's get that out of the way. Now this is the real thing. Okay, so the two things in life is, you got to know what you want, and you got to know how to get it. Okay, so if you know what it is you really want, your true heart's desire, it's the pleasure, the supreme pleasure of the universe to offer that to you, to give that to you as a gift. So what is it? You got to know that your true heart's desire, what you really want, and you got to receive it. Know what you want, how to get it, okay? How to receive it. And the whole thing about, maybe you think it's what you want, but it's actually you misled into thinking that's what you want, and it's not really what's good for you. And so you got to notice that. You got to make that decision. So first, you got to make sure what you think in your mind is what's your destiny, your true heart's desire, the real thing that you really want, not something you think you want, which isn't good for you. So let's get that straight, that part. Once you have that clear, and you know exactly what you want, and then the going about getting it, you want to do the most effective behavior, the most effective actions to get what you want, to cooperate with the universe giving you this gift, which is what the universe is really there for. We ourselves are the universe. We created this for ourselves to get what we want, you see? And to learn to get it, to learn to receive the gift, we ourselves created for ourselves. You see? So this is the thing. This is it. The behaviors that we do, they range from the most effective, the optimum behaviors, that when you do this is exactly what you need to do to get what you want. It's most effective behavior, to things that the stuff that not only don't work out for us, they end up causing us misery and sadness, cause us problem, cause us more obstacles. Okay, and we know that, Alice, right? That the stuff that happen, like and then the notion that a lot of the stuff that we do that don't work out for us is our way of the stuff we do to deal with our pain. You see, so that's why a lot of people don't behave well. The behaviors that people do that don't work for them, I notice is when we don't feel good about ourselves. We behave badly when we feel, our traumas from our past, or maybe something right now is happening. But I notice if I'm not feeling good, then I'm not perceiving accurately. My perception of the world is negative. My reasoning is negative. The things I say, decisions I make, things I do, all of that's good. As when I'm, when I feel good and feel positive, and how I see the world, how I think about, how I perceive, everything changes. That alone. And I made lots of videos recently. A very dear person rehired me for a job, and for a couple of months I didn't have a job, and I felt bad about it. And when she hired me again to serve her, the whole everything changed. Everything in my emotions, my perception, how I feel about myself, my self-esteem. And you can see it in my videos, that the shift that happened, just that the difference of when you change something about it, that makes you change that feeling about how you feel about yourself, changes. And the notion that when you have a kid, then you put a label on that kid, that some diagnosis. And that does it makes them feel, and that diagnosis itself is a name of a disease. And you put a name of a disease, and you put a kid, and you say you have this. You just think about that, right? You give somebody a diagnosis. I mean that just instantly, and how is that going to help? I know it helps in a way. The reason we do it, and because of that label, then they get access to government resources and the right medication for them and the stuff. But then you see that all the harm that it does. So that there must be a better way to handle that, and we have to work that out. I do things I think that I feel are better than what the mental health professionals I see doing, and I want to work out some other things, better things. I'm always working out things, developing better ways of dealing with these conditions. And okay, so this is the thing. This is the reality. This is what I want to say. Okay. So if the whole point of life is for us to figure out from the responses we get from life to the behaviors that we perform, what is a good behavior, what is positive, what is effective, what isn't, okay? And from the feedback that we get from the world, from the people around us, ideally, that this is how it functions, that then we correct ourselves, we see. We decipher from the responses we get from people, from the life, what changes we should make in our beliefs, in our thinking, and the things that we said, the way we express ourselves, to better, exist in the world, treat people around us, and fine tune it. It's always every day figuring out how to behave appropriately in every situation, so we get the most effective, most beneficial results for everybody in every situation. That's what our goal should be, actually. I respond appropriately to every situation in my life so that everyone involved in every situation I'm in benefits to the highest. You know, I think if you just make that my goal, if we all
That
just,
sounds good.
yeah.
Sounds good,
So,
yeah.
okay, so now, so this is the thing. In order to get that, there's three things involved with that, okay? And you need to get these three things right in order to get that. Are you perceiving the world, the feedback it's giving you? How are you reasoning? And how you're communicating, you see? And if all of these are accurate, then it's going to work out fine for you. It's just I see it so much in people that when okay, let's make a very basic example. Let's say an alcoholic. Okay, if an alcoholic, if the perception, if they say distort the perception and say, well, I ain't an alcoholic, like then I do a defense mechanism, right? You look in a psychology book and study all the defense mechanisms, you know, and notice them every time. I know people that all they do is defend. Everything they express is a defense mechanism, and they never they would that these are the people that they you know the things, all of them, they're sweeping something under the rug and just basic lying and saying I didn't do anything wrong, or people who blame others constantly when they feel bad for their way of coping it. You know, there's the whole varieties, and I know all of them. We see them all the day, all the time. I know the people that all the things all the varieties of techniques and methods they've come up with to not see what is actually there. So this is the first thing, is if you're able to have the courage and look at the truth right in the eye and not turn away from it. If you feel bad, don't turn away from it. Don't just relax, pay attention to it and turn towards it, face the bad emotion. And, you know, accept it and then see what it's telling you. Breathe into it. Don't and so the opposite of that, the people that keep busy so they don't feel the pain, or intellectualized, go into their mind, out of their bodies, go into their minds and think to reason it out. I'm the one who's been do that, used to do that. Like I don't want to do it anymore. So that's the most basic thing. And then the range from that to the other end is actually lying and so you got to know that's the most basic thing, is see it as it is. Don't turn away from it. Don't turn away from the truth. Don't repress it. Don't suppress. Suppressing is you know, not avoiding talking about something that hurts. Like my sisters tell me we should do talk about the first 10 years of my life, at the beginning, and I want to avoid it. It just feels so bad. Just the thought of it going there makes me start crying, you know. And then so you see that then that's exactly what we should be doing, right? If that's when you know you're getting there. If you're avoiding something because it makes you feel bad, that's exactly what you know, in this case specifically, right? That's exactly. And I had other people telling me I should work on my inner child. The inner child who I was when I was a kid is still in me. I don't want to go there. It hurts so much. And so it's obvious there's a whole lot of pain there. There's a whole lot of healing needs to be done, you know, with my past. And I don't want to go there because it hurts so much, you see. And so I'm repressing it. No, that's suppression. That's suppression. Repressing is when you yourself don't know. This is stuff I know. There's stuff that I myself consciously don't let into my conscious mind. I'm keeping from my own conscious mind, you see. And I know there's stuff like that there, you know. And another thing, the restriction of communication. If someone threatens you or forbids your communication, you know, that's when, you know, so that's a big red flag. That's a sign there's abuse going on. There's something's not right. Something ain't right, it's wrong. And when someone doesn't let you talk, shut your mouth. And the fact that I was getting in a psychology class in college, I was getting that. You think about that. You restricted the communication. You think about who would get a restriction. Journalists in under that are in third world countries, they get tortured, right? That's not sugarcoated, because that sends a signal, a message to others: you better not say what we're doing, the atrocities we're committing. That's not what we want. But a milder, you know, relationship, and you mention something you don't like, and then you get scolded for it, and then you know that's not right. Okay, so at the moment your communication is just like, I mean, you think about why freedom of speech is at the top of the Bill of Rights, our First Amendment. How important that is, the sacred part of the Constitution. This is all that, the most sacred part. Your prerogative to speak, your soul should not be restricted. That's the most basic thing. But there's another part to it also. I've known people that say, well, I'm speaking my truth, and they'll go around saying the most horrible things, doing damage. You don't want to be doing that either. You can't hurt people and say, well, I'm speaking my truth. And I've seen people who do that. And they rationalize it. Well, I can't. I have to say it. It's the truth. I keep complaining. You are responsible for what you say, and you can't say this damage happened because I had to say what I had to say. Was doing the right thing. You know, you're responsible for that. So that's the most basic thing. The first, So I think that covered two of them, both the perception and the communication. And then the reasoning also. There's that other part. You can tell from different people who, you know, I can tell this person reasons better than another. When some people, the way they rationalize their behavior, that doesn't make sense. Okay, and it's flawed in a way because of beliefs they have, or maybe they have something going on that they're hiding, and they have an agenda, and in order to that's not so beneficial to everyone. Maybe they think it benefits them to do that, but it actually doesn't, because it hurts somebody else in order to get that. And then the reasoning is twisted in a way to rationalize that. And so you got to be able to locate that and call it out, you see. So these are the things we do in order to correct our behavior that we're doing wrong. We got to first acknowledge it, and when we see it, not cover it up, not use any defense mechanism, rationalizing or any way of denying it. We got to see it as it is, and be able to acknowledge it to ourselves, at least. Even if you don't tell others, you yourself know what you're doing wrong, and you got to face. If you yourself aren't facing to yourself, if you yourself aren't being truthful to yourself, and that's the first thing you got to get right. Okay. And I can tell, I myself can see so clearly when I look at it with the right eye, with the correct. Zeke, you're not doing that. That's what you're doing isn't right, okay? And I've been in the other state when I'm trying to, explain what I'm doing and look at it. Like, well, if you look at it kind of in this way, it ain't so bad, really, what I'm doing. I have to do it because of what happened. All the ways you can explain yourself. And I know everybody does it. People who behave badly have all these mechanisms inside, you see, that they've developed to explain, rationalize, every way they can, well, because of my parents, because they did to me either. And this is the thing, if you're pointing to others as a reason for what you're doing, and you're giving away responsibility, they're being mean to me, that's the most basic thing. The point of power, the source is in you, right there. And what religion has done is put up, God in the sky up there, and who's gonna come rescue you, who's gonna help you, Jesus in the sky, or maybe for some people it's the dream relationship, that somebody out there is gonna come rescue me one day, dream lover, come rescue me, or some external source is the source of my to save me, or some external source is hurting me, whichever it is. If it's external to you, then you got it wrong. You yourself are the source of your salvation. You yourself are the source of your problems. And once you come to terms with that, then you're able to correct it. So that's the thing. You got to see it accurately. You got to see yourself as a source. You reason accurately, and you speak the truth. You articulate the truth honestly.
Thank you, Jake.
Get those, then you can correct any behavior you do. You see the behavior you're doing wrong, and you can correct yourself. You can figure it out. You don't need to go to a therapist. You don't need a guru or a God in the sky or I'm going on and on, Alice. Right? You think that's a behavior? That's a behavior. I have been kicked out of groups. I've had the teacher in my class tell me, "You don't like it here, leave," because I talk too much. Okay, that just happened today, and then I put a grievance in there, and the head, the chair of that department, actually, that was addressing that, when I was talking to him, he kind of provoked it. He said, he interrupted me. He said, well, you are talking too much. It's obvious you're talking, you're interrupting. And then he went on and on lecturing me. So I was, obviously, to make me quiet. He says, well, she's right. You are not. You want to go out of, you want to go out of place. That's my grievance was that the professor, college professor, shouldn't be telling me, you don't like it here, go. Mm. And the person I went to the grievance was her boss. The chairman goes, well, she's right. If you're going to interrupt, you're going to talk, then you go. She's right. Go. You don't like it here, go. She doubled down on this, really sticking in me. I have numerous people telling me you're talking too much. Right, Ali? I'm talking too much right now.
Well, I just think you could reduce. You have very good points, and you could write them down and reduce it to a place where it can be 10 minutes. And then people listen more, because you do have a lot of good things that you're telling people. Yeah.
If I can't, if you pick, I'm thinking if I drag your picture on my screen to where the camera on this iPad is on the left side, and your image is on the right bottom corner. If I put it like this, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at the camera. Don't make eye contact. Yeah. So that's what I'm dealing with, and help me with that. You see from your point of view better. Other people sometimes see your flaws better than I myself can, and so help me with.
There are some people who do like people who talk a lot, because they themselves don't talk that much. So it is a positive in different relationships.
Well, in both those classes that I had, that concern both teachers that I read the reviews and Rachel Professor. Everybody was saying all she wants to do is talk about herself. And maybe when someone all she wants to do is talk about herself comes across someone who all I do is talk about myself. Of course, she said, "Well, shut the heck up! You're not allowed to say anything at all about that, right?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was the same thing. I
Yeah.
think that two of them, you have to get someone who likes to talk a lot next to someone who likes to listen. Then you got to.
Well, no matter what, when you're in a school environment, you have to just let the teacher talk. You can't be talking.
Yeah.
So.
And then so maybe I could get some kind of context in which
You just have to not, follow the rules. That's all. But so this, I don't know how long we've been on the video. Do you want to stop it and then start a new video later on when you're a little bit feeling better about doing this?
my point. I made my point. I think that's a statement of that I expressed there. I'm really glad you're doing this with me. I'm really, Alice.
We'll start fresh on the next video.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.